Behind the barn, it was all field, clear up to the nearby woods. Okay? And so by this time, my uncles had been drafted into the war. And so to run the farm, it was just grandfather and myself and my mother's younger sister, and she was only about 4 years older than I was. So there was a lot of work to do. So it wasn't long before my grandfather taught me, how to plow, how to use the oxen, the field, and all that. Well, the thing that I remember about the church bells, of course, I used to help ring the bells. As an altar boy, one of my responsibilities was to ring the bell, and of course the rope, get a hold of the rope and you pull strong. And it was a lot of fun to hold on to the rope because when the bell swung the other direction, the rope went up and we could go up with the rope. Well, the other thing, of course, that's very memorable at the camp, the guards would like some entertainment. And so, the in thing in sports in those days, of course, was boxing. They arranged us according to our weight. I don't know, you talk about, the weight in boxing, and so I think I must have been the featherweight class or something. And so I was working up in the field by the woods, which was quite a distance. And after I had finished my work, it was time to come home. Well, the oxen knew it was feeding time. And so all of a sudden they took off running. I mean, they were hooked together, okay, so there was a little wagon, and they took off running.
Time to go to the barn.
Yeah, time to come home to eat. Yeah, and then of course, when the Nazis needed more medals for their ammunitions and whatever, Hitler ordered all the church bells to be taken down that could be taken down. The inmate who won, beating up his fellow inmate, okay, got extra food. So this was serious motivation. It was a matter of almost life and death kind of thing, okay? And that doesn't mean we had to beat up the other guy, but we had to knock him down, okay? So it wasn't a matter like you had to kill the other guy, your inmate. And so every time I was put into the ring, well, it wasn't a ring, I mean, it was just an open space. Every time I was put into the open space, I would knock the other guy down. So then the commander put me into a little heavier weight. And next time he put me into, fairly heavy weight, well, I wasn't able to knock that guy down, but he wasn't able to knock me down. And there was a little fence just on the other side of the barnyard. And I knew at the speed they were going, they wouldn't be able to stop, okay, before the fence. They'd plow right into the fence, knock the fence over, hurt themselves. And what do you do, with subsistence farming when 2 oxen are hurt and those are the only ones that we could use for the plowing? And so I ran as fast as I could to try to keep up with them and to catch up with them. And I caught up with them just before they got to the fence and I was able to stop them. Oh, yeah. For a little fella with the responsibility and the farm responsibilities and all, yeah, that's still a memorable experience in my life. And so my grandfather and I, we were out in the field, and all of a sudden we heard the bell. And it wasn't, 12 o'clock or whatever when they usually ring. And we heard the bell ring and then ring again and then ring again. Rather quickly, and that didn't sound natural, and all of a sudden we heard a crack. And my grandfather was really affected by that. I still remember, he took his cap off and said a little prayer, and so anyway, they took the bells down, and took them away and melted them up for ammunition like they did all the other bells that they could take down. So this really upset the commander. And so he told the other guy, get out of the open space, and he put on the gloves and he stepped into this open space. And I want to tell you, he really let me have it. I mean, you're talking about, if I can use the term, an SS guard, okay? I mean, this is a grown man. I mean, he really beat me up. And it wasn't long before I was on the ground, okay? with a bloody face, okay, looking through bloody eyes and seeing those black boots straddled over me, okay? And, and the one thought that came to my mind, you may kill this body, but you're not going to kill my spirit. I am an American, and I am going to stay an American.